Good afternoon, aviators. This is your pilot, Quentin J. Parker. We're in central Arizona, passing Capitol Butte, Chimney Rock, Sugarloaf Ridge, and overflying West Sedona to the Mesa home of Sedona Airport. Elevation, 4,830.5 feet, or 1,472.3 meters for you metric types. The airport and its surrounding environs make up version 2.0 of a scenery package by X-Codr Designs. And today, we'll be flying to another one of their airport scenery combos at Telluride Regional. And to do so quickly, we'll be taking Thranda Designs Pilatus PC-12 -47. It's part of their Dynamic Generation series, which I'll touch on later. Let's enter through the cargo door, sashay up the aisle, and check out the passenger area animations. Window screens, fold-out tables, reclining chairs, rotating air vents and light fixtures. You only get the passenger configuration. No multi-role, no air ambulance, no cargo. No special missions configs included. Boom. Turn on the beacon to let everybody know we're about to start up the PT-6 Alpha 67 Bravo. We are looking for a stable 13% gas generator speed. Lever to ground idle, and we're just going to monitor the engine gauges while both the NG and ITT increase. I've been flying the PC-12 since X-Plane 9 or 10, and I have always used the Reality XP GTN 750. That's just not going to change. And as much as I love the sound of this bird, I'm gonna plug in the headset and get the local weather.
Dew point -20, altimeter 3014.
Oh, got the good stuff up front.
Automated weather observation, Sedona. Wind up. Visibility more than 10 miles. No significant cloud. Temperature 7. Dew point -20. Altimeter 3014.
As mentioned, our destination is Telluride Regional in southwest Colorado. We're going to fly GPS direct 265-ish nautical miles northeast at flight level 155. At an elevation of 9,069.7 feet, or 2,764.4 meters, Telluride Regional is America's highest commercial airport. Parking brake is vertical, indicating that it's released and I can taxi forward. And we're moving. Brakes appear to be good. The overall airport is rendered really well, which surprises me that this diamond aircraft is just sitting here. Regardless, we press on. I need to double check to see if it's my settings, but just out of the box, the PC-12 is a little difficult to steer. There's a Dynafield sensitivity setting that the plane ships with, and I can check to see if I tweaked something, but that's more for how the plane feels in flight, not ambling about on the ground. And I have no idea why this dirty, stinking high wing is facing downwind. That's not a run-up area, buddy. What the Dude! Don't do it! There's so much to live for! And there he goes. Don't know what that was about because that's the edge of the mesa. There's nothing down there. Not sure what I just witnessed, and not sticking around long enough to get implicated in whatever it was. Still, one less high wing in the world is a grand thing. I'm going to be switching back and forth between head and mouse view tracking because TrackIR is real skittish. And even though I've edited out the worst of it being janky, you can still see in some areas how bad it is. But if you see any sudden or artless cuts, that's what it was. Hey, anybody with any experience switching from TrackIR to Tobii eye tracking? Hit me up in the comments. Let me know your experience. What was that like? This local area scenery ships with the airport. Looks good enough to adopt this airport and conduct high-altitude air operations just in this area. That's Cathedral Rock, with the church rendered right into the stone. Here's some of the surrounding area. It looks great, and there's no FPS hit to my system, despite the number of custom and animated objects on the airport grounds. The animation on the passenger area light fixture looks kind of choppy, but I tried a different one later, and it looks the same. Au revoir, Sedona Airport. I'm off to visit your high-altitude cousin, Telluride. I'm looking to put in as many hours in this PC-12 as I did in the Aeronautical version. The two renders are similarly modeled, both to a high degree, but the sound set and the little extras really gives a boost to the Thranda plane. I've really only ever used Thranda when they collaborated with Just Flight, so it's interesting to see how they develop a product on their own. So far, I'm liking my experience. It looks great inside and out, the sound is impressive and convincing, and nearly all of its switches work. The plane flies well without any Dynafield adjustments, but again, I'm a little iffy about its taxiing. I suspect that it's user error. I just don't know what I could have done to screw it up. We've pretty much departed the local area, and you can tell because all the high-end hand-painted visual goodness is going to give way to X-Plane's default scenery. And here we are. So we're mostly done our climb, and this is our pilot, the boss's son, Kevin. As best as I can see, his animations are limited to transiting his head between the sky and the gauges. Now that we're established in cruise, let's take a moment to appreciate the lines of this plane. I fell in love with this specific livery design when I first saw it on Pilatus PC-12 November 605 Papa Charlie, way back in 2005. Yeah, it's just a good-looking plane all the way around. I especially like the detail of the static wicks being on the left side of the rudder here. For cockpit animations, we'll start with this visor, which folds down and back. And I'm liking that I can see clouds through it, as opposed to the FLIR effect of not seeing any clouds through visors in X-Plane 11. And we've got true reflectivity on them. The EFB tablet cannot be removed from the cockpit. It can either be mounted on the yokes or on the sides of the windshields of the pilot and first officer. We're going to touch on all of its options. The flight computer gives you all the computational information you need to make your flight. You can switch between imperial and metric on the fly, reset fuel burn, which I'm not going to do. Under plane options, you can see all sorts of stuff. Aircraft covers, chocks, and tie-downs aren't clickable in an exterior view. You've got to come here to engage and disengage them. But here you can also turn on the light, so I guess it balances out. On weight and balance, you can change fuel on the fly and watch your center of gravity move on the performance envelope. You can add the weights of passengers and payload, but there are no graphics to reflect this. Only the shifting of weight placed on the landing gear when it's on the ground. And obviously, if there's a favorite loadout, you can save it. So in addition to the pop-ups, you can switch your barometric units between imperial and metric. I mentioned that this PC-12 is part of Thranda's Dynamic Generation series, meaning you can make or customize live changes, many on the fly. Take this dynamic panel, which allows you to reconfigure its instruments. Say I wanted to approximate flying the PC-12 NG or NGX. I can select a preset which will give me 3 Garmin G1000s. But you can make your own configurations. Not only can you change your static liveries, but you can dirty them up by applying a kind of darker patina. As mentioned earlier, Dynafeel allows you to tailor the feel of the control surfaces to your liking. You can pull up your X-Plane logbook. You have all the checklists, except emergency. That does not appear here. Pushback functionality for when it's needed. You can customize your own livery and registration number. And just in case some of you have this and have any crashes while using this function, try disabling the Zinc plug-in bridge and restart. Here you can set the recognition lights to pulse. Also here, you can change the pilot from Kevin to Tammy with an I, the boss's trophy wife. And for those who employ it, there's Avatab support. Even though it comes framed in the EFB tablet, Avatab is going to open its own separate window, so I'm not sure what's up with that. You can change the overall brightness of the EFB, which oddly enough goes down to pitch black for the whole screen. Okay, 259 knots on the ground with 170-ish miles to go. Making good time. If you're not in the cockpit and wish to bring up the EFB, there's an arrow tab right here on the left edge of your screen that you can click. If you don't wish to see it, you can use the mouse scroll wheel to hide it. To continue with cockpit animations. The armrests fold up and down, and you have this hand crank under the dashboard which adjusts the position of the rudder pedals. Both the pilot and first officer sides have an array of circuit breakers, all of which are animated, but only some are tied into X-Plane's failure system. If you want to practice IFR holds, you've got this tried and true Davtron clock with timer, outside air temperature, time, and voltage. As mentioned, here are the first officer circuit breakers, and under them you get this. It's my assumption that these are the principal developers at Thranda. So we come over to the first officer's mic jack, which also works. Between the seats on the pedestal, you have the interior light controls. And the ones that I use the most, the dome light, the night light, and the nighttime instrument lighting, appear to be fully functional. Alright, we are 60-something miles out from Telluride, so let's get their status.
Sky conditions scattered at 0, broken at 5,000, temperature -8, dew point -28, altimeter 2994. Automated weather observation, Telluride Regional. Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky conditions scattered at 0, broken at 5,000, temperature -8, dew point -28, altimeter 2994.
In terms of natural terrain, the X-Codr scenery surrounding Telluride isn't nearly as dramatic as Sedona, but don't think that it's any less customized. Stay with me. Turning from base to final. Gear down. A little high, but better that than the slam into the approach side of the mountain. One of the neat things about the PC-12 is its short takeoff and landing capabilities, so I don't mind coming in a little high. Design elements from this livery inspired facets of my custom repaints for my SR-22s. Don't know if I'll use Thranda's dynamic paint function or just customize a full new livery, but the registrations will be November Papa India Tango 11 for the G1000 equipped cockpits, and November Papa India Tango 17 for the ones with the 750 touch. Alright, we are clear of the runway. Parking brake. Condition lever to ground idle. I had some difficulty in stopping, and it looks like I may have busted a tire. Flaps are up. Taxi lights on. Alright, we are gonna limp to parking. If coming in high is what damaged that tire, then clearly it wasn't the best idea. I didn't think I landed that hard. It's not like I carrier landed in full afterburner and stomped down on the brakes while still being in full afterburner. Maybe I need a pair of them powdered aluminum infused, nitrogen filled, 415 PSI BF Goodrich tires off the SR-71 Blackbird. Yeah, because this bird isn't expensive enough. Let's throw on some $2,300 wheels. Yep, we're still on fire. I have issues because every time someone develops a Pilatus PC-12, I really want them to render a functional laboratory. It would be right here, directly opposite the air stairs. That, on the other hand, is modeled to work. Just pull down this red lever like so. Check it out. The ground crew tied down the aircraft. That's service, baby. And that deserves a fat tip. We are southeast of the airport overlooking Mountain Village. Several ski and gondola lifts connect between the San Sofia ski station at the top of the mountain and Station Oak Street down in the detailed city of Telluride. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have changed the weather to something a little more wintry, because all this greenery at an operational ski resort just looks weird. And speaking of weirdness, how about Vulcans on skis? Because recreation is logical. Seriously though, ortho winter textures are included, but I guess the real world weather conditions that I was flying in didn't warrant them being loaded. So let's go back to the airport. This X-Codr package is version 1.6 for X-Plane 12. The airport looks legit, with all the static planes, custom signs, and inhabited hangars. The seating outside the FBO and other miscellaneous ground items gives the place an active and lived-in vibe. Let me just state here how much I love and adore the PC-12. This was my first turboprop. Before I got my hands on the TBM 900, this was my go-to if I needed to go somewhere far and fast. And even though it was the Aeronautical version, it was still my plane. This bird is the epitome of, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be signs. Parking on my block would be a little special. Last minute note, there's a mod for a PC-12 Special Missions exterior model in the org store. I'll link it in the description. Alright, that's it everybody. This is your pilot, Quentin J. Parker, and we'll fly in the next video. That's it. I'm out. See ya.